The John Lebang Show has been known to make people laugh, sing, think, scream, throw things in rage, and generally lose their minds. Listener discretion is advised.
Worldwide and out to the greater universe, you're listening to the John Lebang Show.
Welcome, folks. Thank you for tuning back in. This broadcast, we're going to discuss something called full spectrum dominance. Not only the military term, but how you, as an individual, can achieve full spectrum dominance for yourself. Because in our efforts to bring you information, we are also trying to help you get through the coming weeks, days, and months as the birth of, well, the next world order is coming into play. So for those of you who do not understand what full spectrum dominance is, it's basically a military term. Let me give you the rundown. A full spectrum dominance is also known as full spectrum superiority. It's a military's entity's achievement to control over all dimensions of the battle space. Now, as I'm discussing this, ladies and gentlemen, I just want you to keep thinking about the current situation we're in. Effectively processing and overwhelmingly diversity of resources in such areas as terrestrial, that would be on the planet, on the land, on the body we know as Earth, aerial, interesting, maritime, boats and ships and all that, subterranean, those dumb bunkers, you know what I'm talking about, extraterrestrial, in case aliens or ET or whatever show up, psychological, and bio and cyber technological warfare. So in other words, this idea of full spectrum dominance means they will the force that wants this will implement things in all aspects to have dominance over all of it. They want dominance over the terrestrial land. That would be owning land, controlling where you go. Aerial, of course. We saw that over Iraq and some other countries where they had, no-fly zones for particular countries, even though it was their own airspace. Maritime, that's out in the ocean. That's water. That's like all those cargo ships just sitting there doing nothing. They're at anchor or floating around, waiting to unload their cargo. And apparently, on a recent note, I watched some videos of guys trying to unload, and they just say they don't have enough workers to get these ships unloaded. It might be as simple as that. And we'll get to that as we go along. Subterranean, under the ground. So we already know about the dumb bunkers and other such facilities. Even the preppers. The rich preppers have built themselves little underground bunkers as well. Extraterrestrial, think Space Force. That's a good agency to consider for the extraterrestrial. Psychological, MK Ultra, propaganda, mind control, controlling the media. Bio, in our controlling people's bodies, right? Bio, right? Plants, everything that has some sort of biosignature. Okay, they want to control that. And cyber technological or technology. Of course they want to control that. In fact, they created it so that they could have a means of controlling the population and the information that is disseminated between them and see who searches out specific things. See, they didn't have that opportunity when you would just have to go to like the library or use newspapers or specific articles through Freedom of Information. They couldn't control that. But now that the Internet of Things, which is turning into the Internet of Bodies, but the Internet of Things allows them, as well as you, access to all sorts of information they never would have dreamt possible until they had their little internet. Now, with that introduction, I'd like to present to you the idea that full spectrum dominance is being applied to the people of the world, or on the people of the world, by the governments and by corporations and by elites and all that. And you'll need to have your own version of full spectrum dominance to be able to kick some butt in the coming days, weeks, and months. As this full spectrum dominance is taking place, one of the things we're seeing is that they are forcing people to either accept a bio control system. Now, it may not be a computer operated or what. I mean, there's speculation on what it actually is. But the control system is the mandates. That's the control. They can tell you to do it, and you don't, and you have to suffer the consequences of not doing it. You can't buy, sell, trade. Well, that system is part of a full spectrum dominance. And to show you that it's working exactly how they wanted it, because one of their goals, ladies and gentlemen, is always to divide and conquer us. And one way would be to have the people who do not want this biosystem, make them the black sheeps of the country or the world. And in August, ladies and gentlemen, we see a record 4.3 million workers quit their jobs because of, at least in part, that reason alone. Where the biocontrol system is being forced on employees, and the employees are saying no. There's an airline that rumors are banting about that's the reason they're canceling everything, because a whole lot of people left. But what was interesting, a total of 892,000 workers in the food industry and accommodation industries left their jobs. I wonder if some of those, because the statistics aren't so accurate on this, when they say left their jobs, does that mean that some of the businesses went out of business? While 721,000 retail workers departed, along with, and here's the big one, 534,000 healthcare and social assistant workers left the workforce. Now, the people who are saying that that's good, this is like fighting back against the powers that be, and you watch some channels that are getting a little uppity with their commentary. because the never pokers are rising up, right? That's exactly what they wanted, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, it's going to force the economy into a crash mode. Because if there are not enough people in the workforce, then how are all the jobs going to get done that supply the entire chain from food to goods and services? If there are not enough people to do the jobs, how do all those things get to the consumer? That's going to mean more businesses are going to close because they just can't keep up with the demand. Prices are going to go up, as we've seen. We'll talk about that. So we're going to see shortages, businesses closing, and that means, in the end, less for us to consume. With our consumerism, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the reasons the Western culture thrived so well for so long. Now, people leaving their jobs is not limited to the healthcare industry or the retail industry or the food industry, as we know, because we even have Pentagon officials resigning. Now, they're saying that it's over something different than the mandates. They believe that China has won the AI battle, and they're headed for global dominance. Now, isn't that interesting, ladies and gentlemen? Because the next world order is clearly on a path to have China. They want China as the ruling military and political system. The one world government. And you can't have a one world government with freedom. So you have to do it more like the Chinese method. And this person who resigned, and I'm going to give you a quote. They say, and I want you to listen really close to this, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm sorry for the background noise. We have no competing fighting chance against China in 15 to 20 years right now. Are you listening, ladies and gentlemen? It's already a done deal. It is already over, in my opinion. Whether it takes a war or not is kind of anecdotal at this moment. Now, here's something interesting. China is the plan, or that's the only way you can have a one world government, is a ruling body that has a more Chinese approach to their political system. And only the destruction of the United States stands in the way, ladies and gentlemen, because once the United States goes, the rest of the Western world will fall like dominoes. And it won't be long because, well, ladies and gentlemen, Joe Petto is currently running the country. And he is a 31 asset. If you've been watching the show, you know what 31 is. If you don't, go to the website, look up the C code, you'll understand what I'm talking about there. We've already mentioned them, though. And we are watching full spectrum dominance happen before our eyes in this country alone. The food shortages, the buildup of ships in the harbor, and this is a little more concerning, it's not only officials, colonels, and such that are resigning their commission from the military, but with the looming deadline that we're going to get to here in just a moment, a good portion of our military is going to face either court-martial or they're going to be let go somehow. A good portion. And that's going to weaken our country. But we got to take a quick break, folks, so we'll get to more of this on the other side. Be right back.
Don't think about touching that dial.
That would be a mistake.
The John Lebang Show will be right back after this.
That's guaranteed, man. Like some good Thai stick.
Are you in need of commercial or residential window cleaning? Do you need your office clean? Maybe custodial work? How about some gutter cleaning? If you do, then call Pane in the Glass. For a beautiful shine that's crystal clear, call Pane and the Glass. You can find them on Facebook at Pane and the Glass.
You're listening to the John Lebang Show.
It's better than the I-Raider convention.
Recently, the NSA told the Pentagon to lock down their weapons before hackers get to them. This is just to coincide with the prior article, almost a companion piece. Most Americans know the NSA as the country's leading intelligence agency, responsible for collecting foreign intelligence via computer, cell phones, and other electronic means. But the NSA is also responsible for cybersecurity and playing defense against other countries that seek to penetrate America's computers and computer networks. This is from the article that was released by Popular Mechanics. Now, ladies and gentlemen, although Popular Mechanics' explanation of what the NSA is maybe technically correct, the NSA collects data on all electronic communications, not just foreign intel. They have to collect all of it to determine what is foreign intel and what is not. There's just not a signature that says, oh, bad guys are calling the other bad guys and we need to listen in on this call. They have to listen to everything to determine that, right? Also, as the deadline nears, the deadline that I was just talking about, and the weakening of the United States defense continues to decline, the defenses of our country with these mandates, with what we're hearing from our own resigning military people. Pretty soon we're not going to stand a chance, or our defenses are already too weak to withstand an actual attack. Didn't we? If you're one of those people who believe that the Orange Man won illegally in 2016 with the help of foreign aid, well, this already proves that. And on the other hand, if you are of the persuasion that thinks that Operation Ballot Box happened last election and that was manipulated, you understand that that is easily done as well. So either way you look at it, what we're being told here is the truth. Our country's defenses are weak on the cyber front. The malpractice media is now finally admitting that we're not as advanced as advertised. You see, the house of cards is crumbling, ladies and gentlemen, and I want to send this to you because it has been something that I've recently connected in my brain, and I'm sorry I didn't get it earlier. But this December marks 12/21. The entire month is 12/21. And I'm of the belief that we are going to see one hell of a month. But we're going to see more than one hell of a month because we have still a month and a half to reach that, and a lot is going to happen in the meantime, especially in Shocktober. But we have the next thing to talk about, and that's Joe Petto's administration and the deadline they set for federal employees to get the you-know-what, the mandate. Federal employees have until November 22 to be fully, you know what, in accordance with the head of the 23-8 right now, the puppet up there, and their mandate. Now, November 22nd or 11/22 equals 33, ladies and gentlemen. Keep that in mind. 11 to 22, 33. 9 days before December 1st, or the beginning of 12/21, which also just happens to equal 33. 33, as many of you know, is a special number for a special group. So, if it were me, these are some important dates to watch in the coming months, especially in 12/21. December 1st and 2nd, the 2-day period that will most likely be filled with some bad news. Maybe for us, maybe not for the next world order, but I suspect there'll be some bad news brought to us on those 2 days. December 9th, which is Pearl Harbor Day. December 12th through the 21st, as it seems to be leading us into some massive ritualized event. What it may be, I don't know. And is it going to be an attack or stock market crash? Or I'll let all the other people predict what's going on. I'm telling you the numbers are looking this way. That's all. 12/21, as we have stated many times on this broadcast and through videos on the YouTube channel, plenty of evidence that has had some connection with the current events going on. In fact, it seems to be the code, the numbering system for the current situation. And I hope that 12/21, December 2021, isn't the final stage of all that. But as we look at everything, ladies and gentlemen, wouldn't put it past you. Everything is coming to a head. Full spectrum dominance is happening. Where else is it happening? Well, as Nancy would tell us up there, the Wicked Witch of the West, it's going to be even in a $600 a month transaction from the bank, and them having to report that to our other 3-letter agency that has control of your pocketbook. $600 a year. You remove $600 a year or more, every transaction from there on out is being reported, and that is staying in the bill, according to Nancy, the Wicked Witch of the West. That means everybody's activity, everyone, will be watched after $600. And mortgage payments, car payments, general living expenses, vacations, all those things cost more than $600. And once you've passed the threshold of $600, even a $2 transaction is going to be reported. Full spectrum dominance. Tyranny continues as the Americans watch in horror. Ladies and gentlemen, action is going to be needed real soon. And hopefully it's not too late. We also have news on 12 shortages this December. 12. It's in the news by the Independent. 12. From turkeys, blankets, all your favorite items will be short. And if I were you, this is just what I'm going to do. I'm stocking up now. I'm going to spend the money on groceries. I have enough room in my cupboards and in my freezer. And I've got some money right now. So while it's worth something, I'm going to go buy stuff now. Because by December, it's probably going to be too hard to find these items. We're being warned. Not only through the independent, but through other malpractice media sources and some supposed alternative media sources, including your buddy Glenn Beck. Inflation has shifted to brutally high. That's what one CEO is saying. And when the CEOs are freaking out about how much things cost, you know it is getting bad. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Now, what do? How do we get our full spectrum dominance? Because they're going to do it to us. First thing we got to do is make sure we have enough stores and supplies to last us through dark winter number 2. Because that's exactly what I think we're facing. The sequel is coming. And this one is probably going to be a little harsher than last year's. What other things? Might be time to get those alternate forms of communication, ways of generating some sort of energy. Water filtration systems, if you haven't thought about them, you better. I'm attempting to build my own. Hopefully it works. But the full spectrum dominance that's being laid on the people of the world, it is a war on the people of the world. This is not country to country anymore. And if one country invades, it's only because it has to look good. It can't look like you can't trust the people from within. Even though we know by now you just cannot. Water. Can't last long without that. You've got to not only store enough water, but be able to back that up with ways to filter and make water drinkable. And you're going to need about 5 gallons of water per day per person if you want to keep your hygiene up and wash clothes and plates and stuff like that. Something to think about. The food, as some of the preppers I've been listening to have been saying, and I agree with them, if you got 6 months of food stored away, start going for a year. If you got a year stored away, start going for 2. But that only is going to last you for so long, and you better have means of creating your own food. That means you better start stocking up on the seeds. And we're going to have seeds here pretty soon that we might be able to kind of spread with the rest of the world to help you guys out there have a little food security when it comes to after the dark winter. Because we got to get through the dark winter first, which you're talking about heating prices going up or blackouts. We're seeing that in some countries right now. Full spectrum dominance, ladies and gentlemen. And you need to have your own full spectrum dominance to be able to survive, thrive, and kick butt in what is coming, not only in the near future, but the distant future as well. I'm John Lebang. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, share, do all those sort of things because we really need your help. We're being suppressed big time. Big time. And the only way the word is going to get out is by you guys putting a little bit of effort into this and getting the word out for us. So, hey, we see you guys sharing other people's stuff. We just ask you to do the same for us. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you next time. Have a good day. Stay strong.
Tune in again next week